There comes a moment, and you know it, you've felt it, where time seems to stop. You're standing still, but the world is moving without you. And somewhere deep in your bones you feel it. You were meant for more. But life doesn't slow down for your hesitation. Destiny doesn't wait. We are not born to wander aimlessly like leaves in the wind. We are born to carve paths through stone. But the tragedy is this. Most men will die with their song unsung, their purpose buried beneath excuses, comfort, fear, and they will call it fate. No, fate is not what happens to you. Fate is what you choose to become. The world will tell you to wait, for permission, for the perfect timing, for some divine signal that says now. But that signal will never come. Destiny is not patient. It is a fire, and you either become the flame or you are consumed by it. Nietzsche once wrote, "The snake which cannot shed its skin must perish." And today that snake is every man who refuses to grow, who clings to who he was instead of who he must become. You are not here to remain the same. You are here to transcend. But the world loves your doubt. It feeds off your silence. Every minute you delay is another brick laid in the prison of mediocrity. Do you think history remembers the cautious? Do you think greatness is born from those who play it safe? No, it is forged in fire, in the crucible of decision, in the refusal to wait for life to make sense. Destiny doesn't wait for clarity. It rewards action. Edison didn't wait to be understood. Ford didn't wait to be accepted. Carnegie didn't wait to be invited. They imposed their vision onto the world, not with arrogance, but with absolute, unshakable certainty that they were here to shape the future, not be shaped by it. And you feel that same pull, don't you? That restlessness, that quiet rage, that whisper that says, "This life, this isn't it." Good. That's your soul remembering. That's your destiny pounding on the walls of your comfort zone. But comfort is the enemy of destiny. Comfort numbs the will, dulls the edge, and a dull blade never carves a legacy. You are not here to survive. You are here to create, conquer, rise. But that version of you, the one that fulfills your calling, he doesn't exist inside your current habits. He doesn't show up when it's easy. He emerges only when you stop waiting and start becoming. Because here's the truth no one wants to admit. Your potential is not promised. You can die with it fully intact. Millions do. They go to the grave full of talent, ideas, visions, and they are buried next to them, never to be seen by the world. Why? Because they waited. They negotiated with time. But time is not your ally. Time is the battlefield. And every day you hesitate, you lose ground to a weaker version of yourself. You want to know the real cost of waiting? It's not just lost opportunities, it's the erosion of your soul. It's the slow death of belief, the decay of the warrior within you. And once that belief dies, you're just a shell, living someone else's life, calling it good enough. But you were not born for good enough. You were born for fire, for purpose, for war with your own limitations. You were born to stand before the world and say, "I will not vanish quietly. I will leave thunder in my wake." Do not mistake this for ego. This is not vanity. This is responsibility. You owe the world your greatness. You owe yourself the full weight of your potential. Not someday, not when it's convenient, now. Because destiny doesn't come to the man who waits. It comes to the man who dares, who builds without guarantees, who speaks truth when silence is safer, who steps forward when his knees shake, when his heart pounds, when every voice screams, "Turn back!" And he answers, "No, I go forward, even if I must go alone." That's the price of destiny. It demands everything, but it gives everything in return. The world may not understand you, your friends may question you, your family may fear for you, but their comfort is not your compass. Purpose is. And when you walk in purpose, even hell itself cannot hold you. You will be tested. You will be mocked. You will be tempted to shrink, to fit in, to blend with the sleepwalkers around you. But let them sleep. You were born awake. You were born for a mountain no one else sees. And that climb, that brutal, bloody, beautiful climb, that is the proving ground of destiny. You will fall. You will bleed. But the man who rises from his own ashes, that man is unstoppable. Nietzsche said, "One must still have chaos in oneself to be able to give birth to a dancing star." So embrace the chaos. Embrace the hunger, the confusion, the long nights where nothing makes sense, because those are not signs you are failing. They are signs you are becoming. Clarity is not given. It is earned in the fire of movement. And belief? Belief is not something you wait to feel. It is something you build, one act of courage at a time. So what are you waiting for? The world is not going to pause for you. The stars will not align. The moment will not be handed to you with a bow. You must decide that today is the day you stop rehearsing and start living, that you stop talking and start doing, that you stop wishing for destiny to find you, and instead become the one who forges it with his bare hands. You are not a beggar of purpose. You are its architect, but only if you act. And when you act, truly act, the world changes. Not immediately, not with applause, but with resistance. That's how you know you've touched the current of your destiny. Everything around you begins to push back. The moment you take a step out of mediocrity, life throws storms your way. Not because it wants to break you, but because it wants to see if you mean it. Purpose is not proven in comfort, it's proven in chaos. When the lights are off, when the doubt is loud, when nothing around you validates your mission. That is the furnace where vision is purified. That is the moment where the average quit and the chosen rise. And you must rise, even if your hands are shaking, even if your voice cracks when you speak, even if no one understands you, you go anyway, because you know that nothing inside you will be at peace until you become who you were meant to be. Let others chase applause. Let them chase status, convenience, security. You chase alignment. You chase the deep, unmistakable pull of destiny. Walt Disney was told his ideas were foolish, that a man with no money and wild dreams would never build an empire, but he didn't listen. He saw what others couldn't. That's the mark of the destined. They see castles where others see rubble. They feel possibility in the silence. They believe when there's nothing to justify the belief but a fire in the soul. It's that fire, and only that separates those who live history from those who are forgotten by it. You see, we have confused convenience with progress. The world has sold you a lie, that life should be smooth, linear, comfortable. But comfort never built empires. Comfort never forged heroes. Comfort never awakened gods. And there is a God inside you, dormant, watching, waiting. But gods don't rise for wishes. They rise for war. War against the smaller self. War against mediocrity. War against the quiet death of settling. Every day is a battle, and the battlefield is your mind. So what will you feed it? Doubt, distraction, delay, or discipline, conviction, vision? Because here is the reality. Your mind will obey whatever command you give it most often. If you speak limitation, it will shrink. If you speak power, it will rise. But power does not come from pretending. It comes from deciding. It comes from ruthlessness, not with the world, but with yourself. You must become merciless in your refusal to be average, merciless in your hunger to grow, merciless in your discipline, your habits, your thoughts. And that doesn't mean you never fall. It means you rise faster. You bleed forward. You crawl if you must, but you do not stop. Because the man who is willing to suffer with purpose is unstoppable. Suffering is not your enemy. Meaningless suffering is. But when you attach suffering to your mission, when the pain becomes the proof of your transformation, then every setback is sacred. Every scar is a signature. Every failure becomes fuel. Nietzsche knew this. He lived in pain, his body broken, his life full of rejection, isolation, ridicule, and yet he wrote with the fury of 1,000 lifetimes. Why? Because he understood this one truth: a man with a why can endure almost any how. Find your why. Not the shallow kind. Not the kind that sounds nice in conversation. The kind that keeps you up at night. The kind that shakes your chest when you think about it. The kind that, if you don't pursue it, will haunt you. That's the one. That's the real reason you're still alive. And when you find it, when you name it, don't negotiate with it. Serve it. Obey it. Let it devour the weak parts of you. Let it tear down every excuse you've ever built. Let it demand everything. Because destiny doesn't knock twice. It shows itself once. In a vision, in a dream, in a burning moment of clarity. And then it waits. It waits to see if you are worthy. And to be worthy, You must move, even without certainty, even without guarantees. You must build your wings on the way down. You must burn the bridge behind you. You must leave the comfort of what you know and march into the wilderness of what could be. That wilderness is not the enemy. It's the forge. It's where the future version of you is waiting, not in some imagined paradise, not in some perfect plan, but in the fire, in the brutal, beautiful, sacred work of becoming. And once you step into that fire, something strange begins to happen. The very things that once terrified you, they start to lose their power, because fear is only strong when you kneel before it. But when you walk through it, not around it, not above it, but through it, you realize fear is a liar, a ghost dressed in armor, a paper wall that folds the second you charge. Most people never discover that. They live their entire lives as prisoners of imagined threats. They worship comfort. They idolize certainty. And so they rot, slowly, quietly, invisibly, from the inside out. But you, if you've come this far, it means something in you refuses to die that way. Something in you is still awake, still dangerous, still wild. Don't tame that part of you. Feed it. You were not designed for the cage of conformity. You were not born to be domesticated. You are a force meant to disrupt, to awaken, to challenge everything that insults your potential. Look around you. Most people are dead long before they're buried. They stopped growing, stopped questioning, stopped daring. They sold their spark for a steady paycheck, a quiet life, a series of safe decisions that slowly suffocated their soul. But you are not here to survive. You are here to ignite. And ignition requires friction, the friction of resistance, of failure, of relentless repetition. Ask anyone who ever changed the world. Lincoln failed in election after election. Edison burned through 1,000 failed attempts. Ford was mocked by the titans of industry. They all faced ridicule, rejection, ruin, but still, they moved. Because they knew something most people don't. The path to destiny is paved in rejection. If no one doubts you, you're not dreaming big enough. If no one mocks you, you're not threatening the status quo. If no one resists you, you're not walking the edge. And the edge is where you must live. Not because it's easy, but because it's honest. Because it's the only place where you can no longer pretend. It strips you, breaks you, rebuilds you, and eventually it reveals you. You see, destiny is not a gift, it's a challenge. A test of your capacity to suffer meaningfully. A question posed to your soul. Will you rise even when every part of you wants to run? Most won't. Most will build a life that avoids that question entirely. But avoidance is not peace. It's a quiet surrender, a slow burial in routine and distraction. But those who face it, those who look the void in the eye and say, "I will not flinch," they become something else entirely. They become inevitable, unstoppable. They become the ones who don't need the world's permission to move forward because they've already given it to themselves. And that's what this is really about. Not becoming something new, but remembering who you are. You were born with fire. Born with vision, born with the raw material of greatness. But somewhere along the way it got buried. Under expectations, under fear, under years of living someone else's definition of realistic. So this is your task now. Dig it up. Excavate your power, reclaim your voice, stand in your own light, even if it burns, even if it blinds others, even if you must stand alone. Because once you do, once you taste what it means to walk in alignment with your deepest truth, there's no going back. The chains fall off, the noise dies down. And in that silence, a clarity emerges, not from logic, not from reason, but from a primal knowing that says, "This is why I was born." And when you find that, hold on to it with everything you have. Let it guide your mornings. Let it anchor your nights. Let it dictate the standards you live by, the people you surround yourself with, the habits you tolerate. Because destiny isn't a destination. It's a discipline, a daily choice, a refusal to betray your future self for present comfort. And that self, the one you're becoming, he's watching you. He knows the price you're paying. He knows the sacrifices you're making. And he is waiting, not at the finish line, but inside you. In every moment you choose power over passivity, purpose over pleasure, growth over ease. That version of you isn't a fantasy. He's real. But you must earn him. Because the truth is, you don't attract your destiny. You become it. You don't wait for the perfect moment. You create it. In blood, in grit, in silence. Destiny doesn't come to the man who waits. It comes to the man who builds. Who wakes before the world and carves his future with bare hands. Who rejects every excuse, every distraction, every lesser version of himself, daily. And that process isn't poetic. It's brutal, lonely, exhausting, but necessary. Because evolution demands pain, transformation demands loss, and greatness. It demands everything. Everything small, everything safe, everything average must die for destiny to live. There's a reason most never reach it. It's not that they weren't capable, it's that they weren't committed. They said they wanted it, but only until it hurt, only until it cost them friends, only until it challenged their identity, only until it forced them to destroy the stories they clung to. But you must be willing to burn it all, every lie, every comfort, every ounce of ego that whispers, "You've done enough." You haven't. Not if you still feel that weight in your chest. That aching, restless voice inside you screaming, "This isn't all I am." That voice is real. It's the map. And it doesn't speak in logic. It speaks in hunger. Hunger for meaning, for mastery, for transcendence. And that hunger will offend the world, because the world is built to pacify it, to numb it, to tell you that ambition is arrogance, that discipline is toxic, that sacrifice is unnecessary. But deep down you know the truth. That kind of thinking isn't compassion. It's cowardice in disguise. They want you small because your greatness threatens their mediocrity. Your obsession exposes their apathy. Your refusal to compromise reminds them of the compromises they made decades ago. So they'll tell you to slow down, to be realistic, to balance your life. But understand this, balance is for men with no fire left. A man chasing destiny doesn't live a balanced life. He lives a disciplined one, a deliberate one, a dangerous one. Because he knows what's at stake. He knows time doesn't wait. He knows that every day lived off mission is a day stolen from the man he was meant to be. So let them misunderstand you. Let them mock your intensity. Let them label your silence, your sacrifice, your singular focus. Because the man of destiny does not explain himself. He executes. He doesn't beg for understanding. He embodies purpose so clearly that eventually the world has no choice but to adjust. And that's the shift you must make now. From seeking validation to becoming the validation. From needing proof to being the proof. From asking for direction to walking like you are the direction. You want to lead? Then stop following. You want to rise? Then stop waiting for permission. You want to win? Then kill the part of you still asking how. You already know. It's not in some book, not in some course, not in someone else's formula. It's in your blood, in your instincts, in your scars. That's what destiny respects, the man who has bled and still believes, the one who wakes up heavy, weary, wounded, and still moves, the one who doesn't just want power, but earns it through his habits, his thoughts, his standards. Because in the end, destiny isn't some cosmic accident. It's a decision, a daily declaration. I will not leave this world untouched. I will not die full of dreams I never dared to chase. I will make them remember my name, not for fame, but because I lived fully, fiercely, without compromise. That's what this life demands of you. Not perfection, but devotion. Not motivation, but conviction. Not hype, but honor. And the highest honor is to become everything you were meant to be. So stand up, shoulders back, eyes forward. Because this is the truth about destiny. It doesn't wait, and neither should you. So now we come to it, the crossroads that every great man must face. Do you keep living small, shrinking, bending, folding yourself to fit a world that was never built for your fire? Or do you rise, unapologetically, fully, violently awake? Because this is not about success. This is about becoming. Becoming the man who never settles, becoming the one who wakes with fury in his chest and iron in his spine, becoming the one who does not flinch, not from failure, not from pain, not from the weight of his calling. Do you hear it now? That pulse? That echo in your bones? That's not noise, that's your name, spoken by eternity, whispered through time, carved into the fabric of this universe. You were meant for this battle, this climb, this chaos, all of it. Perfectly designed to forge you. Because destiny isn't just waiting at the end of the road, it is the road. Every broken step, every brutal night, every silent morning, when you rise without applause and still move forward. That's destiny in motion. Not a gift, a grind, not a miracle, a mission, not some grand event, but a series of small, defiant choices made when no one is watching. And here's what they don't tell you: no one's coming, no rescuer, no perfect moment, no savior. You are the storm. You are the rescue. You are the answer you've been waiting for. You want transformation. Bleed for it. You want mastery. Sacrifice for it. You want legacy. Burn for it. Until there's nothing left of the old you except ashes and victory. Because that's what it takes. It takes killing the coward in you daily. The one who whispers, "Not today." The one who waits for the mood, the motivation, the moment. No. The moment is now, the fire is now, the battlefield is now. And what do you bring to it? Not excuses, not stories, not apologies. You bring discipline, you bring hunger. You bring a rage wrapped in purpose so pure that the universe itself bends to your will. That's what makes kings. That's what builds empires. That's what splits history in two. Not talent, not luck, not timing, relentless intention. Ruthless commitment, spiritual violence, because when you know who you are, when you remember what you were born for, when your actions scream louder than any affirmation ever could, that's when the world moves. It won't celebrate you at first. It will resist. It will test. It will try to break you. Let it try, because you cannot be broken by a world you've already outgrown. So break the rules. Break the cycle. Break the silence that's been killing your soul. Let them call you obsessed. Let them call you extreme. Let them say you've changed, because you have, because you had to, because anything less than full transformation was betrayal. Betrayal of your gifts, betrayal of your potential, betrayal of the one life you were given, not to waste, not to coast, but to conquer. So write your name in fire. Stamp your soul into this earth. Live so boldly, so fiercely, so fully, that when death comes, it finds nothing left to take. That's how you honor your destiny. That's how you become untouchable. That's how you leave this world empty of regret but full of impact. So rise now, not tomorrow, not when it's easy. Now. The voice inside you, that restless roar, it's not a fantasy. It's the truth. The clearest, rawest, most divine truth you will ever know. This is the truth about destiny. It doesn't wait, and neither should you.